The Tomb. We're going to give our spoiler-free reviews of the episode and then get into a spoiler breakdown of the episode starting now. Welcome to the Nerdzilla Show. I am Nathan.
I'm David.
Hey, we're starting a little bit later than usual. Our spoiler-free logline from Disney for this episode is Marc and Steven must find balance as supernatural threats ahead and look to stop them. Okay. So David, what did you think of this episode?
I think I really like this episode because even though there's no Moon Knight in costume and in gear and everything, but the thing is appreciate we get to know more about the story about how Marc is like in the past and then get to reveal more secrets about Layla exactly, and also more about as they find out more about how to stop the god Ahmet from being resurrected and everything. Even though that Harrow is really convincing that that he's bringing something good to fight this evil, which really it's something not. But we get more about this tomb that they found that would lead to Ahmet, and then later on it led to more to, let's say, more of a cliffhanger basically at the end, which got us more into the story now. Even though we're 4 episodes in, we have 2 episodes left, but I like this one.
Yeah, I liked it too. It was a really good episode. It was we got to see Layla do a little bit more in this episode. We got to see Steven use some of his knowledge, his Egyptology knowledge in this episode as well, which is pretty cool. This episode played a little bit like a Indiana Jones movie for parts of it, and part of it also played as like a weird sci-fi, not sci-fi, but a horror movie as well. So yeah, it was really good, and also there was lots of surprises at the very end that made me think of I don't know, like Legion, which was a really great show from a couple years back. So yeah, it was an awesome episode. Looking forward to what's going to happen next week. I think I'd probably give this I guess an 8.5 out of 10. Really, really, really strong episode. I'm not sure. It might be the strongest of the season. I'm just giving a little bit of space for something for them to like knock it out of the park next week, hopefully, and then the week after next is they drop on a really weird and mind trippy cliffhanger in this episode. So hopefully they'll able to deliver on that in the next episode. So yeah. All right. Anything else before we jump into spoiler talk?
Let's get to it.
All right. So if you are enjoying the conversation, please join the conversation by commenting down below, and like and subscribe to get more content like this. It really helps the channel out, and we really appreciate it. All right. Getting into spoiler talk. So I was thinking that we should actually start at the end instead of the beginning of this, and I actually have screenshots of what happens at the end of this episode. So actually, let me jump over there to our screenshots. So at the very end, Steven gets shot, and he seems to fall through some water into this like nether realm. It sort of looks like someone online said like Get Out, and then we're featured to this weird like television show that kind of looks like Xena warrior princess or something like that. It was similar, like very cheap, like set decoration and stuff like that, but also has a hint of like
Ice?
a hint of Tomb Raider as well. Tomb Raider or Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, what did you say?
I was gonna say it feels like a parody of Indiana Jones.
It's like a parody of Indiana Jones. Yes, instead of a Indian boy have a black kid here. So I guess it is sort of an Indiana Jones one parody. I think in the first movie he was in South America at the very beginning, and we have a little hint here. This guy is looking for this guy is talking about the moon god, and I think this is the Aztec civilization. I'm not sure though from the sculpture here.
Mm.
So we zoom out, and it's apparently a television show, and we are in a psych ward. So this scene was very interesting for a couple reasons. So like we have all these Easter eggs. So this is Crawley, the living statue who showed up in previous episodes. In the comic books, he's also like an informant for Steven. So as we go through this scene, there's all these Easter eggs making you think that all this was in Steven's head. So you have all the people that are here in the psych ward actually happen to be people that we've seen throughout the season, and some of these people are people that we didn't see Steven with. So here's I think this is Bobby or who is this? Bobby Billy. Sorry, this is Bobby. This is Bobby. Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy, the guy, the woman who came to his door. So that's Bobby, the cop. So that's Bobby Kennedy as an orderly. That's his boss, and she has like a scarab, like a doll, or plushie there. You can see actually in the clock here, there's like symbols, Egyptian symbols here, and there's a cart of cupcakes. This is the woman who did the passport, and she's drawing a picture of Khonshu here. What else in this scene? I'm probably gonna miss one of the Easter eggs. There's the fish, and there's Billy Fitzgerald, the other cop that came to his door. So this is Steven waking up, and we see Layla, and Layla is eating Turkish delights like she was at the beginning of the last episode as well. So this is trying to make Steven think that he's crazy. I think like everything that all the things that he's seen in his life about Moonlight is represented here in this psych ward. Even he's trying. Sorry, not Steven. This is Mark. He's trying to talk to Steven, and he falls down because he's tied to the chair.
The chair.
Right, and he even has this doll of Moonlight Night, which happens to be actually, I think this doll is actually a painted Skeletor that he made to look like Moonlight. So yeah, you see all these Easter eggs, and also Harrow happens to be his psychiatrist, and he's trying to get him to believe that he is hallucinating about Moon Knight. We also see the picture of Austria here, as he's coming out of his stupor because he was sedated. So yeah, there's just a lot of Easter eggs in this scene, in this part of the episode. Even in his office, there's a bunch of Egyptian stuff here. He notices the cane. He notices his shoes, his sandals. Um, he notices the Egyptian statues. And again, like I said, the Copic jars. So basically, everything that we saw, or representations of everything that we saw in the last 4 episodes. But it seems a little off because these lanterns don't look like lanterns that you would see in a. They'll look like lanterns that you would see in a psych ward. These look like lanterns that you saw inside of the tomb. So something is definitely off here. And then he goes into this room and there's a sarcophagus and he is reunited with Steven. Which again is weird. But they seem to be very happy to see each other. It's interesting that they're very happy to see each other, given how like contentious they are with each other all the time. He's just happy that he can that he can verify his sense of reality, because Steven verifies the last thing that he remembers is being shot, right? So he knows he's not going crazy, and then they try to escape, and they notice this other sarcophagus that's moving. So I think we've talked about this in the last couple weeks. There's obviously a third personality that they haven't talked about
or even know about yet,
or know about. But remember in the previous episode, and we didn't review this last week because we're for various scheduling issues. But last week, Mark woke up and there was a bunch of people dead around him, and Steven and he blamed Steven for doing it, and Steven said, "I didn't do it." So there was definitely someone else inside of their body who did this, and I guess we're going to meet that person next week. But they've been hinting at it for like several episodes. So they go down the hallway, and they are met by Taweret, the goddess of fertility. This hippo goddess, who just says hi and then they yell.
Freak out.
And they freak out. Yeah. So yeah, this whole ending sequence is. This whole ending sequence is interesting. It is really cool and funny, especially at the very end when they meet the hippo goddess. So, for those of you who don't know or who haven't looked this up yet, this goddess is the goddess of fertility. She is known by a couple names in Greek, not Greek mythology, in Egyptian mythology. She is known as the Lady of Heaven, Mistress of the Horizon, she who removes water, Mistress of pure water, and the Lady of the Birth House. So she's typically depicted as a bipedal chimera with a hippo's head, a crocodile's tail, and the paws, arms, and legs of a lion, with pendulous breasts and a pregnant belly. So here, it doesn't seem like she has lion arms. It's not in the Marvel universe, but that's how she usually is depicted. In Marvel comics, she is still the goddess of childbirth, while and she's also the wife of Bess and good luck, the god of luck and probability. She becomes the cohort of Sobek, the god of rivers. So that's in the Marvel comic books. I'm not sure if they're going to do that here in the show, but she's also part of the Ennead in the comics as well. Again, who knows whether or not she will be part of the Ennead in this show. If you remember back to last week when the Ennead showed gathered, there were like 2 empty seats. So maybe she was one of the ones that was missing from the Ennead last week. But what's interesting here is that she, apart from being like a fertility goddess, she's also the goddess of like renewal and rebirth. So maybe this is how they survive being shot twice in the heart. The way that she usually works is that she renews the spirit for the afterlife. That's how she usually works. But I don't know if they're gonna, I don't know, maybe get a loophole here, because they are the avatar of Khonshu or whatever. Maybe they can convince her to revive them the same way that Khonshu revived them. But it's an interesting. It was a very interesting end to the episode. What did you think of this whole sequence here?
It's makes me wonder like where exactly is Mark at, because I think we're inside his mind, even though also at the same time we're inside the nether realm when he fell into the pool.
I don't know. I feel like this might be like limbo. Like maybe Taweret is trying to do her job, which is like I said, to renew the soul for the afterlife. But there's more than one soul inside of Mark's body, so she created this construct to kind of sort out the different souls. Maybe. I can't tell from what we got.
Yeah, because right now we don't know where exactly it is. It could be in his mind, or it could be in a limbo.
Yeah, we're speculating. It could be in his mind. It could be somewhere else. It seems like as soon as he died, he fell down, and I don't know if he fell down into, yeah, he fell down into his mind, or he fell back into something else. But yeah, it's a mystery, and it's also, like I said, a really good place to end the episode. Let me see if I can go all the way back to the screenshot that we had at the very beginning. Yeah, so this is where we started when he got shot. And it looks like he's actually physically dropping, but this could be in his head.
Or his spirit's in limbo, as you said before, because otherwise, how are they able to see the hippo? You know, and
Yeah.
because to deal with Egyptian gods is that they're not only they can be physical, they also can be spiritual, like what's called astral form. They can get into the mind and everything, just like Doctor Strange. So I think we don't know yet until next episode, but it's likely it is his mind in limbo and everything. Hence, the third sarcophagus, which I have a feeling I know who it is in there. But I guess right now it was left as a at first when I saw Harrow in that scene in that area, I'm thinking, is he in his mind now? But it's like, no way, he just shot him. So I think it's just Mark imprisoned in his mind, kind of like, I don't know which scene is this, but it's kind of like Batman in one comic book series when he's also when he was was in a coma. Well, Dick Grayson was Batman, but Bruce was stuck in his mind as well, and you see different personalities of his past and everything. So I think this might be it too, but again, we don't know yet because he's in the tomb and he fell into the pool that somehow sank even further down. So I'm thinking. But they was like wondering, is it really a pool, or is it really led to another place, or something? So I guess we have to find out the next thing. I mean, that's a theory though, because this is Egypt, so anything can happen in the pyramid. So I mean, it's a theory though, because we'll find out. Maybe we find out in the next episode what it is. But I think, especially as you said before, his mind/spirit is in a limbo or something like that.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I mean, he could be hallucinating, but I don't think that he actually is hallucinating. I think where Arthur shot him, he shot him twice in the heart, which means that he probably died immediately. So I don't think he has the brain power to hallucinate. I think he's gone, in which case his spirit is somewhere else. He shouldn't have been conscious long enough to create the scenario. It seems like it was a pretty elaborate scenario to create for someone who's dying. So I think that he might be in some middle place. It's funny because Amet is the person who's supposed to weigh you in the afterlife in Egyptian mythology, weigh your heart against the weight of a feather in Egyptian mythology. But Amet is encased inside of that inside of the Upshati. I'm pronouncing it wrong.
No, yeah, Ashapti.
Yeah, Shakti. Yeah. So Ahmed isn't there. So maybe that's why we say Taweret. So it's interesting. But maybe she's standing in for Ahmed because since Ahmed is encased in a in stone. So yeah. All right. So that's how the episode ends, and then So going back to the beginning of the episode, we find Marc and Layla in the desert where we left them at the beginning of at the end of episode 3. And Marc is passed out. He doesn't have his powers, and I think that Harrow's men are kind of on their heels. So that's where we start in the episode. I mean, at the very beginning, we see Osiris putting Khonshu in kind of like a cupboard. But skipping past that, when the episode actually begins, we're in the desert here, and she's trying to get Marc to wake up, but he is knocked out, and then these guys come in a truck. So I thought this scene was actually pretty cool for a couple reasons. It showed like I said at the beginning in the spoiler-free portion, it showed that she is very capable even without Marc. Like Marc is completely passed out here, so she actually saves him. Now Marc and Steven, actually it's Steven that's passed out because Steven is the one who changed the sky before Khonshu was encased in stone. So Steven is passed out here, and she is able to distract the guys with the flare and also use the flare to blow up their truck, blow up their ammunition. So she's really resourceful here. And then they make their way to Amit's tomb based upon the information that they got in the previous episode about the stars. But it seems like Amit is already... Harrow and his people are already in the tomb. So they come on the camp. They see that they're already in the tomb. I think at this point, in the Jeep, she asks Steven about Marc, and Steven actually tells Layla that Marc said he would go away once Khonshu was gone. And she questioned them making decisions without her. And then we have a whole scene here where Marc is fighting with Steven in the tent. In their reflections. Anyway, after this, we go to the tomb. Oh, before we go to the tomb, we have this awkward scene where Layla is about to kiss Steven, but Steven first he tells her that the reason that Marc was pushing her away is because Khonshu wanted to take her over as an avatar, and then he kissed her, and it seems like she was ready to kiss him, and then when he kissed her, she was like unsure. Does this seem like an awkward kiss to you? It seemed like an awkward kiss.
It's like the kiss scene that just threw me off. I'm thinking like, where did this come from? Because it feels like, I mean, Layla has probably thought she's kissing Marc, her husband.
Well, Steven, she knows. I mean, she knows that she's kissing Steven, but I think it's probably just weird for her that this guy is inhabiting this body that she knows, but it's not really Steven. Sorry, it's not really Mark.
Yeah.
It's Steven. That's why I feel like at the very beginning she was about to kiss him, just because Steven reminded her of Mark, because he smells like him, like she said. But like once Steven actually kisses her, I don't know if she thinks it's off because he doesn't kiss like Mark does or whatever, but she does. She seems a little uncomfortable or weirded out by this or by the situation.
Or maybe it's just it's because of the situation or the spark. I mean,
Yeah,
not spark, or some sort of like a attraction and everything. But Layla's like confusing. Who am I attracted to? Mark,
yeah,
Steven. Even though she knows what's going on, but the thing is, who's who?
yeah. I'm sure it's really confusing to her because while Steven is like while Mark is standoffish and pushes her away, Steven is basically all the things that she loves. Like Mark doesn't speak French, but Steven does, and she speaks French. Steven likes her favorite poet. Steven is far more like sensitive. So she is. It's a very confusing situation for her, I can imagine. So just before we get into the tomb, we get Mark. I think it's either Mark punching Steven here, or the other personality who we haven't met, because it doesn't look like Mark has the power to do that, right? If he had the power to control the body, he would just take over the body. So it might be the third personality.
Third, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so in the tomb, they actually start
Exploring.
They belay down, and then they start exploring to try to figure out how to navigate the tomb, and then they realize that it's a giant maze. Well, Mark realizes it's a giant maze, and in the eye, I think the eye. I don't remember if it was with the Eye of Horus or the Eye of Ra.
It's the Eye of Ra, because the eye is pointing up. It's toward the sun.
Yeah, so the Eye of Ra. That's what the maze is in the shape of. So, and the little curly Q at the end is supposed to be like the tongue. All right, so, and because and you expect that the sarcophagus is going to be at the end of the tongue. So this is the part where we get into like a horror movie. So there's these priests. I forget what they're called here in this episode. Heka Egyptian priests. So there were priests that were put in the tomb to protect the pharaoh in the afterlife. This is actually a tradition that was something that Egyptians actually did. When the pharaoh died, they would kill all his servants to protect him in the afterlife. I don't know if they would. I mean, of course, this is a fantasy show. They didn't actually come back to life, but these guys are undead, and they actually do protect the tomb here. So we're treated to some very gory blood entrails and stuff as they're entombing their victims and putting their organs in these Coptic jars. And Stephen makes a good point that maybe we shouldn't go towards the entrails and the blood. So he finds a different way, and that's when the Heka comes into the room and sort of terrorizes Layla. So that's when they I think they break up. They split up here. And I think this is Bobbi who's being killed.
Bobby's
or
being
Billy.
killed, yeah.
No. This is Billy.
No,
This is
Billy. Sorry.
This is Billy on the table being killed by the priest. Um. So she gets out and she runs to the other end after Steven does a distraction, because it comes after him for a little bit, and then she finds herself in the catacombs here. This is another scene where she's given a lot to do. Like, so she crosses this thing like a champ, like a real Tomb Raider. But then they have this scene where the thing pulls her in. The hacker pulls her in, and then she escapes, and then it pulls her in again. It's really terrifying, but it's also fun because you don't know what's actually going on here, and at a moment here, I thought that maybe Steven was going to save her, but I like it better that she saved herself in this moment with another flare. So they really gave her a lot to do. Maybe they gave her a lot to do in this episode because she's going to have less to do in the next couple episodes. But I appreciate them showing that she's very formidable and very capable without Steven, without Marc. So this pretty much is close to the end of the episode. So Steven finds the tomb, and it is Alexander the Great's tomb. And he opens it up, and he finds the Upshati inside of Alexander's throat, because he's the voice of
Ahmed.
He's the voice of Ahmed. While he's doing that, he says Layla talks to Harrow, and he tells her that Marc killed her father, which is something that I'm not sure if you guessed that in the previous episode, but I guessed it in the previous episode. Probably I guessed it 2 episodes back when Steven was in the back of the cab and Steven was learning about Marc's deeds. So anyway, they had this conversation.
I can go back a little bit. Way back, maybe episode 2 and 3, where Layla's making, I think it was 3, where Layla was making her passport. She asked something about her dad and everything, because it bothers her that her dad's an archaeologist, but he doesn't know what happened to him. He just went to one dig and ended up disappearing. And then later on, she learned it from Harrow about it, that Marc actually killed her. And then it killed her dad. And then later on, she didn't believe it at first, but then when she realizes that there are a lot of things that Marc does not tell her, despite that she was married to him, it's just that she felt that she doesn't know if she can trust Marc or / Steven, and end up taking in what Harrow's words about her dad, because obviously her dad is Leia's dad is her world, obviously, and she wants to know what happened to give herself closure and everything. She thought it could be an accident during a dig, or something had lost, or he was killed and everything. And then later on, he found the truth about it, about that it actually is true that Marc killed her dad. And then Marc / Steven explained to her what exactly happened and everything. So, and that's when we get the whole story that one of Marc's previous digs, he had a partner who got greedy and ended up being influenced, and then end up killing a lot of people during this excavation, and
including Marc. He shot and killed Marc as well. So
yeah.
And I think Marc didn't say in this scene that the only reason he survived is because of Khonshu, but it's obvious that's why he survived. So they have a longer conversation to have, and maybe they'll have a flashback to him surviving and being revived by Khonshu in the next episode. But yeah, putting aside the fact that he didn't kill her father, it's still a betrayal though, because the only reason that he looked her up and found her in the first place is probably because of guilt, and he never told her. Not only did he not tell her, he started a relationship with her and he married her. So I don't see how she she gets over that easily, because like she said, you only you only sought me out after because of what happened. So yeah, they have that fight, and then Arthur's people come in, and this is when he gets killed. He gets shot. So he tries to take on some of them with Alexander's axe here, and Arthur shoots him. So yeah, the stuff that happens in the tomb is pretty straightforward, but there are some exciting bits, especially with the priest, the Hawke priest, which make the episode really cool. Very make the episode really like a horror movie is what I meant to say. And then, like I said, there's Layla's jumping from rock to rock like in a Tomb Raider video game or something. So yeah, this is when Steven gets shot
Twice.
twice. Yeah, he gets twice. Let me go back there. Yeah, he gets shot twice in the heart here. Yeah, he shoots him twice. So in the heart. So yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I don't think that Steven is in his head, because I think he dies almost instantly here. He would bleed out. He would bleed out pretty quickly here.
So it's probably like his spirit and soul trapped in a limbo, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And hence they met Taweret, the hippo goddess, which is very likely Taweret, but which is very likely since she is the god of resurrect that can resurrect. It's
she's the god of rebirth, but it's like I said in Egyptian mythology, she revives the spirit for the afterlife. It's not necessarily resurrection. Mm-hmm. So we'll see if she bends the rules for Steven, Marc, and whoever the third person is in the next episode. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the episode. I think that's the last. Well, that is the last thing, except for, like I said, what we did in the what we showed in the beginning. Any thoughts or predictions for the next week? I know we did predictions earlier on when we talked about the hospital scene, but I think that whatever happens, she's gonna have a hard time forgiving. She's gonna have a hard time forgiving Marc and being with Marc, and I think she's gonna be even though Steven didn't do anything to her, she's gonna find it weird trying to be with Steven as well. So I think that they're gonna go their separate ways at the end of this show, and maybe they'll get back together later on if they have another season, or if they have her in a movie or something. But I don't think she gets over what he told her anytime soon. I think they're going to work together to solve this problem, of course, but beyond that, I think that their relationship is probably done. Seeing as how it started with lies in the first place.
Well, in the comic books, Layla was an on-off relationship with Marc Spector and everything. And then
I mean, in the comic books, her name isn't Layla, but yeah, his wife was on and off. Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, they did. I mean, I'm not sure what route they're gonna go to, but they did end up having a kid together in the future with Moon Knight 2099. But not 2099. They did have a daughter, but then later on, it's passed down to a generation of such specters. But anyway, more to the point is that my prediction is that Marc and Steven, and possibly the third locked personality, will be coming out as well. Will be like rebirth in a way from the Taweret, and then they'll find and then also we might get to see that Harrow might be able to either start or able to bring to Ahmed to the living. and we'll go from there because they're actually at they are at the Alexander the Great tomb. So maybe, and they found and Mark found what he's looking for, the voice of Ahmed in his throat. So, but the thing is that Mark has it in his hand when he was shot, of either his hand or with him and everything. So, but I think
No. I
that
think she took it. She took it.
yeah, she took it. That's
She
right.
took it.
Yeah,
She took
yeah,
it
she
like
swiped
because
it.
Mark she took it from him, and then Mark went and got an axe from Alexander's tomb. So she has it. So she has to try to. I don't know how she gets out of there. Sorry. The way that the tomb is built, remember it was like that tongue that goes around in a circle. So I don't think that there's any way out of that tomb except for to go back out where Harrow's men are. So yeah, unless Taweret revives Steven very, very quickly and also gives him some powers, I'm not sure how she's going to get out of that tomb. I think that he is going to get the Upshoti, and maybe, and I guess we have to see whether or not he has to do a whole ritual to release Ahmed, or if he could just break it to release her. I don't know.
We'll get to the final until next week.
Yeah. All right. If you don't have anything else, that we know what we think, but we are interested to hear what you guys think. So please comment down below to join the conversation. Like and subscribe to get more content like this, and we will see you next time. All right, guys. Bye.